It's been overcast, but I'm sure throughout the day we're wishing for good weather in our big city. Independence celebrations are on, and many Papua New Guineans, when you drive around, when you walk around, wherever you go, you can see provincial flags, you can see the Papua New Guinea colors, you can see many people getting themselves ready for independence, so that's great to hear. Now let's move straight into our discussions for this morning. And as I mentioned at the intro of our NASPAN program, Talkback Show, she is a writer blogger with Ples Singsing Mastermind, and her name is Betty Wakia. We will talk to her and ask her about introducing herself as well, and what some of the things that she's been doing. Betty, good morning to you, and thank you for your company. Welcome to the NASPAN FM100 Talkback Show.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on your show.
Betty, before we get into these discussions about Ples Singsing Mastermind, and just tell us a bit about yourself, and I'm sure our listeners would love to know where you're from, what you do, and how long you've been blogging.
Okay, I'm a Papua New Guinean writer myself, blogger and educator, and I do literacy activities in the country, and I've been working for about 5-6 years now, and I'm from Hello Province. And currently I'm carrying out the school writing project, which I go out to near my primary school and teach them how to write and read as well.
Oh, that's great. So many Papua New Guineans, when you mention the word blogging, they're probably thinking, what is blogging? If you say writing, yes, they can relate to writing. Obviously, writing can be, you can pick up a pen and you can start writing, or, generalization of, doing that. But just for the benefit of our listeners, what is blogging?
Blogging is, it's where you write your stories, anything you do on internet, because currently everything is on internet, and that's where we put our stories, what we do, it's we put it out there, and then we want people to see it.
So it's basically the same thing as you're a writer, but you're using the internet as the form of getting your message across, and you write about certain topics. It can be about lifestyle, it can be about entertainment, it can be about food, but you blog about certain things, and so it's called blogging.
Yes.
That's great. So moving on to PNG, a writer's blog, Ples Singsing, it's called. It's an envisioned to be used as a platform for Papua New Guinean expressions of creativity, ingenuity, originality in art, culture, and literature. Before we actually started this program, I had a look at the page, the Ples Singsing. It's a well set up page, and I had at the start of it, it talks about world literature. So obviously, you're blogging for this month.
Yeah, literature
it's going in more or less aligned with the International Literature Day.
Yes, I do that.
So just tell us a bit about the Ples Singsing Mastermind, or the Ples Singsing. What it is, when was it set up, and what does it do?
Ples Singsing is a space for Papua New Guinean to promote, share, and debate about PNG writings on the digital platform, as you have mentioned. Its aim is to facilitate internal and outside dialogue, and it's an informal group of 4 published PNG writers or poets, which is Dr. Michael Dom. We have Gregory Bablis, Caroline Evari, and myself. We have come together to proactively improve literature and literacy outcomes in the country by encouraging more PNG authored books to be made available in schools and public libraries. The blog and our activities aim at promoting and supporting Papua New Guinean writers and poets. We do this by publishing articles, essays, poems, etc., which may also be edited for the author's benefit beforehand.
Now you mentioned Papua New Guinea writers, so the ideology behind it is that you've got the page up and running, but you encourage authors. For these authors that come on, Papua New Guinea publishers or writers, how do you go about involving them to come and be part of the writing system? Do you ask them for them to publish some of their books onto your site, or are they asked to write something of a topic that is relating to what you have on the site?
We ask anyone to write, any public, what is happening right now. The stories, we also tell them to write about histories and cultures. It's all dying out, and all of us have a history to tell, right? So we encourage them to write. And also, our vernacular languages are lost, and we also tell them to write in language and translate them into English as well.
No, that's great. And so those authors that you mentioned, what are some of the things that they've written about that has been published? Apart from like for this team for the September, you've got the World Literature Day or International Literature Day, which you're aligned to as well. But when you started putting up the website and some of those authors came together, some of the Papua New Guineans that have come to write, what are some of the topics that they've written about that has been published or put onto the blog site?
They have. We also have. They have published anthologies, histories of Papua New Guinea, because we have writers from all over Papua New Guinea coming forward to send their writings to us, and we edit them, we publish them. So we encourage Papua New Guineans to take part and send your writing to us, to Ples Singsing, so we can able to publish them, edit them, and then put them out.
With the current education system, this is a way forward, because many Papua, as you say, technology has come to PNG, and it's the government is trying to make technology more viable for everyone in terms of the internet connectivity to provide the information. And blogging is a way to go where people can express the freedom of writing as well. And if you look at it, as you mentioned, you're also encouraging Papua New Guineans to, their books or their topics that they write about to be used into the education system, if I'm correct?
Yes. We encourage them to write about, their culture, traditions, histories. Also going out to all schools, doing an awareness on that. Like I've been with Nirama Primary School, encouraging students to write about that. So, which I'm happy because some of their works has been published in the newspapers.
Wow.
And and
that's great.
Yep. And the students have been coming to me and saying to me like, this is the first time to be writing, and like I'm motivating them. So, which was really exciting for the students and teachers and the parents as well.
The level of up, for example, at New Area Primary School, it's up at grade 8, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So you've got grade 8 students
Yes.
who are more or less, say, 14, 15, 16-year-old young Papua New Guineans who are expressing themselves by writing. And they go on and they blog.
Yes, because they also sit for written expression exam.
Yeah.
So that time, the teachers were telling me they don't write in good English. So they encouraged me to, go to them and teach them on a topic where they can able to
relate to.
Yeah, to relate to the writing. So I've been going to the class 101 and telling them, the process of writing.
Yes.
And then they telling them to write the poems and essays and short stories and motivate them.
Yes.
And I've started to create a Facebook page,
Yes.
Which is a school writing project, and encourage them to follow on Facebook, because currently young generations are uploading photos and all that. But I told them you have to see your own writing, and they've been excited seeing their writing on Facebook and telling me, wow, I saw my pictures on the Facebook, and I was like, people are reading my stories and all that. And then they come, they come to me and they said, hey, I think I'm famous, because I'm promoting your writing.
Yes.
And this is what schools are supposed to be doing. I'm aiming to go around to in-city schools and do that.
What are some of the interesting stories that some of these kids have written that you've seen, or that has been published on your blogging site? Anything that you've seen that has come a bit interesting to you?
Yeah, some of the stories. One of the stories, the boy from Myanmar, that's in Morocco province. It's right in the rural areas where there is no access to education. So he had to, walk all the way to Port Moresby, traveling through Leh, from Leh to Poponeta, from Poponeta Karama, all the way to Central and then to Mosque, and then now he's currently doing his grade 8 at New York Primary School. And he wrote the story, and everyone was in tears. Teachers was in tears. And even myself.
Just to get educated.
Just to get educated.
He had to walk miles.
Miles to come to Mosque.
Even risk his own life.
Of course.
Just to walk, just come to Moresby, so he could put himself to education.
Yes.
And he wrote his experience.
He wrote his experience, and that's what one of the powerful and killer story. I was telling them I want to read killer story. And
that's what you want. You want them to share their experiences. Share what's within them.
Yes, right.
Wow, that's amazing. That story must have really captured the hearts and minds of even yourself as well.
Yes, and even the teachers were in tears. They were, they saw the stories on national, and they were really in tears. And even the parents came to me and it was like, I don't know his story, Somehow he just wrote the story himself, and we just read the story. And he's, I think, staying with some of his relatives, and they don't know his life story. And when they, but the newspaper and start to read that story, they were,
Wow, that's awesome. That's great. You're listening to the NASFAN FM100 Talkback Show. Our guest for this morning, our first guest for this morning, is a lovely person, Betty Wakia. She's a writer, blogger, and they've got a page, or they've got a site that's called the Ples Singsing Mastermind, or Ples Singsing. So it's a blog site. Was established in 2020 by Gregory Bablis while he was in Edinburgh in Scotland preparing for his PhD research. Now the blog site is being by these four masterminds of Caroline Evari, Betty Wakia herself, Gregory Bablis, and Michael Dom. And he's been rewarding here for them as they look forward for more post-writers activities and awards, as well as initiation of Papua New Guinea Writers Association. So that's some of the things that they're looking forward to. When we come, we'll come back after a break. We'll talk to Betty about some of the things looking forward that she's got to do, and also some of the things that are programs that are related with literature, and some of the things that they'd like to see changing within our education system in terms of Papua New Guinea's reading and writing. Do stay with us. You're listening to the NASFAN FM100 Talkback Show.
FM100 Talkback Show. You're listening to the NASFAN FM100 Talkback Show. The offer gets even better with Telecom PNG's launch of the new S16 wireless broadband.
You did great.
Really?
You did great.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. You did great.
Thank you.
Feel free to add on. I'll ask you just general questions.
Yes.
Some of the questions I'll ask will be based on your answers.
Okay.
I'll just subtopic them. So yeah, but this is your opportunity, so don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
FM100 for keeping me informed and making sure I'm entertained as well. I love FM100 100%.
Welcome back to the next one, FM100 Talkback Show. Supported by Thanks South Pacific, Telecom PNG, and Resort and Carnival Village.
Welcome back to the NASFAN FM100 Talkback Show. Thanks for your company this morning to join us. Our guests for the first hour from 9 to 10 a.m. We have the pleasure of Betty Wakia. Now, Betty is a writer, blogger with Ples Singsing. We've been discussing about she talked about herself and also the Ples Singsing, how they come up with the idea in the first place, and some of the activities that they've been doing, and some of the schools and people they've been involved with as well. If you want to be part of the program or ask Betty some questions, you can do that. Send us an email live at fm100.com.pg, or you can also give us a call on 323-3777, 323-3999, or text us on 1600 is the SMS center. As we move on with our discussions with Betty, now Betty, tell us the concept behind the activities of Tintin Bilon Me Essay, the competition that you guys are currently running.
Tintin Below Me Essay competition is to tell the government tell the government why our questions, why PNG government should write, why should the PNG government should write PNG publishers, you know, importance of writing in the country. So we're telling students to write stories, you know, about what is it's related to the petition that we are currently doing.
Okay. So the idea is to get the government to be more proactive within, in terms of trying to get Papua New Guinean writers to, or publishers or writers, to come out and write more often, more emphasis given to them,
Yes.
more or less, more attention, and more or less more assistance as well, you know, given to writers. And so that coincides with
Petition.
the petition, and also the I can read here that you're also looking at the reinitiation of Papua New Guinea Writers Association.
Yes.
So this also falls in line with what you'd like the government to do.
Yes. So like our petitions was in 2019 with PNG Writers and our supporters came together to petition Prime Minister James Marape, asking the government to give special attention to PNG
Yes.
literature by supporting and encouraging writers,
Yes.
and developing a homegrown literature.
Yes.
Building a homegrown literature is all about writing and publishing more PNG other books.
More local content.
Yes, and having them distributed throughout the country. Since then, he hasn't responded to our petition,
Yes.
and Ples Singsing started to come up with a thinking below me essay
Okay.
competition, which we asked the school students to
So more or less in English, it means that what are your thoughts?
thought.
What do you think?
Yes, so thinking below me as a competition was around why you think PNG government should or should not buy PNG other books.
Okay.
This writing competition was to give PNG Prime Minister's attention.
Yes.
So, but again, we didn't receive any response.
Yes.
I just simply made a call on the social media
Yes.
to the Prime Minister to support our 100% homegrown local writers, publishers, and authors which are struggling
Yeah.
to tell our nation stories of 800 plus languages to the world. By doing this, we'll boost the nation's intellectual.
Yes.
When we have more intellectual Papua New Guineans in the country, we wouldn't have problems that we are facing today, right?
Yes.
So kids should be encouraged to read and write in English and in their local languages. Libraries should be packed
Yes.
with educational books, account books, engineering books, science, law books. You have health and medicine books, all written by Papua New
Papua New
Guinea.
Guineans.
So we don't want white men to write.
Yes.
We have to write. You know, you as a journalist, right?
Yes.
You have to write your own book. And
If
that's
I've got to write about media and journalists or radio,
Yes.
I've got to write it as a Papua New
Papua
Guinean.
New Guineans. You write it, then you know, let the kids do it. Let people Papua New Guineans to be reading what you do. You know, right now, my education is I don't know what you do. So when you write something, I read your work, and then I was oh, this is what journalism is all about. Oh,
Yes.
this is what medicine all about. This
Yes.
is what health all about. That's the main thing we are doing, and we're asking Prime Minister to help, right? Because we don't want to read books written by our children. We want our own books to be read about Papua New Guineans. So that's why you know, PNG government should spend millions of on this.
Yes.
PNG authors books and distribute throughout the schools in the country. We as PNG writers hold a strong view that literature can play a significant role in nation building. It can have a powerful literature influence on education
Yes.
and on culture and on focusing people on how to create a strong and progressive society. So this is one of the things that we as writers are doing, and I'm calling on the Prime Minister to, you know, really look at PNG Papua New Guinea homegrown literature.
Speaking of literature, International Literacy Day, as an educationist and as a writer as well, Papua New Guinea turns 46, you know, in this month of September. In your own, you know, going about and seeing how, you know, you've gone to schools, you've seen how they write, you've seen how they talk, their form of grammar and vocabulary, the literacy rate. What is your how do you summarize that? Is Papua New Guineans, do we need help? Are we struggling, or are we at a level where we need to encourage more homegrown literature to be written so that we understand each other?
Yes, I think our poor in English is really poor. Our literature rate in the world is really low, and as I've been going around schools, I see most of the kids are not reading. They are not reading. In my times, we hold books and we sit in the bars we read, but
Yes.
today I don't see that. And you can see on Facebook, it's writing all these short.
You don't see many children going to libraries over the school holidays.
No, I
Not
never
like-
see any kids going to the libraries. I don't know what is wrong with them right now. If I think kids, parents are supposed to encourage their kids to read books, encourage them to go to the libraries. That's one of the things that we really lack in the country.
If you look around, when you go, more kids are holding on to mobile phones and tablets than they do to books
Books, yes, that's what I'm looking at.
to read. So how can as a writer, how can you combat that? How can you get kids to, hey, look, okay, I've got a mobile phone, but how can I turn that phone into a book? You've got the blogging site as well, but how do you get them to get into that site? Or what do you do? What are the activities and the messages can you do as a writer to encourage Papua New Guineans to start reading and writing and get into literacy?
That's why we are doing a literature competition,
Yes.
and as I've mentioned, we have started 2 mini poetry competitions so far, and we also have Tintin Belomi as a competition, and currently we're doing Kurai Memorial Award, which we are doing that to motivate the kids to
Wow.
write, and we have so far see so many students.
How's
even
the response like? How's the response been?
Oh, it was really exciting to. They were saying, "Oh, thank you, Ples Singsing, for
Yes.
giving us this opportunity to see their writing on Ples Singsing blog."
Yes.
Was really exciting for them because they want to see they want to see critical people to read their work, and also us as a professional writers to see their criticism on their writings. So which is it very happy and excited for them to be part of the blocking.
Now, Betty, I understand in August you celebrated Ples Singsing Blog's Conception Day. Maybe you can comment on that.
Sorry.
The Ples Singsing Conception Day, that was on the 15th of August.
Yes. It's about the Well Environment Day.
Yes,
Yeah.
15th of August. Yep.
Yeah, that's our Well Environment Day. We have tell students in primary to secondary schools
Yes.
to write poems, just to send in so that we know poems about environment.
Yes.
And yeah, they sent us, and it was a mini poem. So we've started to give flags
Yes.
for that, and yeah, they did a good job. We see numbers of students taking part on that.
You had a good reception for that. Many people, actually wrote about it and poems and stuff.
Yes,
You know,
and we started to post them on the blog
On
as
the
well.
blog, yeah. I've seen, some of the poems that are written by Papua New Guineans and some of the expressions of that they write, and it's very captivating, and it's also when you look at it, unique, and they talk about the reality of their situation, and that's what you want to encourage. Yeah, you want to encourage a Papua New Guinean to come up and write about themselves, and feel free to express. Do you feel that writing in Papua New Guinea is more suppressed? Do you think that in terms of journalism and getting out there and really speaking the true writing, do you think that it's suppressed in a way?
Yes, it's really suppressed in a way, and people are not coming out to talk about it. And that's why we are going out there in schools, and even on like Ples Singsing. We have created this Ples Singsing platform for them to
Yes.
come out and express themselves,
Yes.
right? And we also have 108 800 plus languages.
Yes.
And different. You have your own culture, which I don't know. You have to write about it.
That's right.
And express it out so that people in Papua New Guinea can, know about your culture. That's
Yes.
why we are encouraging people out there, just get into writing,
Yes.
and send us. And we want to make this writing to be on the platform like internet,
That's
so
correct.
that
Yes.
the world can see. People who wants to travel from other countries wants to come to PNG. They will read some of your writings. Who
Yes.
knows? Before you go to other countries, you wanna, Google and find out about what, one particular place.
Yes.
And that's what I do. I travel, and I wanna go to like China. I have to, go through the
Yes.
Google and read what writers have written about that country.
Yes.
And that's why we are really encouraging, Papua New Guineans to write. And I really want tourism and promotion to be taking part in this education department, libraries,
Yeah.
national libraries and archives, to really support
Yeah.
what we are
Department
doing.
of Community Development.
That's
yeah,
it.
Come in.
Really want them to support what we are doing, because it's very important. It's very important for the country. And a nation without a book, a nation without a soap, right? So really want those departments and governments and organizations to support what Ples Singsing is doing.
That's a great initiative that you guys are doing as well. Do stay with us. We'll take our next break. We've got Betty Wakia. She's a writer, blogger with Ples Singsing. We'll come back and continue our discussions on the NASFAN FM100 Talkback Show. Thank you, Betty. That's really interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I can feel like I
You're
said
starting-
some very important
Yeah.
points out.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
I like my son.
Yes.
The other time, my son was talking to me, and he said, "Dad, I was doing this cause," and I said, "Hold on, what did you just say?" He said, "I was doing this cause," and I said, "There is no such word as cause. Where did you learn that from?" He said, "No, at school there we said there is no cause. It's because." And that's what I'm talking about, because less students are writing, they can't write properly, so how can they talk properly as well? They need books that they can write that, read that, and they need to be taught like Papua New Guinean way of art, We're getting influenced with
This is
culture
Nespan
from
FM100
Western and
Talkback Show.
That's right.
FM100 leaves no stone unturned and no listener in the dark.
And that's one of the things like we are doing right now. Like,
yeah.
Kids are very important.
Stay informed
That's
and
They are the one who's gonna run this country, and we are teaching them how to read and write. And when they open their minds, when they start to read, they start to open their minds.
Well, we're just concluding our discussions for this morning with our guest. She's Betty Wakia. Our Betty is a PNG with the PNG Writers Blog. She's a writer herself. She's an educationist, and it's called the blog page. It's called Ples Singsing. It's envisioned to be used as a platform for Papua New Guinea's expression of creativity, ingenuity, originality in art, culture, and literature. And the blog was established in 2020 by Gregory Bablis while he was in Edinburgh, in Scotland, preparing for his PhD research. Now, the blog site is being a mastermind, or more or less a partnership with Caroline Evari, Betty Wakia, Gregory Bablis, and Michael Dom. Now, it's also rewarding for them, as they look forward to more posts, writers, and activities, and they encourage writers, bloggers, and Papua New Guineans of all age to come up with the experience and write and use their page as a platform, to get their message across. And they're looking to also reinitiate the Papua New Guinean Writers Association. But as we conclude our discussion, it's quite interesting about Papua New Guinea's culture, because we celebrate 46 independence, but is there much written about each province's culture? As you mentioned, if I'm from another country and I come here and I'm trying to go up to Jiwaka province, I go on and I try to find about Jiwaka. More probably it will give me the demography, and probably it will give me where it is and which province, and a bit of that. But the culture, the different languages, and the different unique fauna and flora. This is some of the things that you want to encourage writers to write about.
Yes, that's the very important thing that I'm encouraging writers to write about. As I've said, we come from different cultures. 800 plus languages. That's a lot. And writing about their own culture, like if you said you want to go up to Uwaka, so one of the Uwaka fellow must write something about his own province. So we can pick his book and read about Uwaka. If you want to come to my province, Hala province, I have to write something about Hala province. The languages, the basic language, you want to go in probably to Tari and say, okay, hey, how much is that food? Hey, you have to write.
Oh,
I have
hello.
to write.
Well, good morning.
Hello,
good night.
Good morning. Or good night. These are some of the basic language you have to write it. We have to, write it in a book and then sell them out, and people can buy it. And when you travel down there, just buy that book and then go around, mingle with the community people down there. So yeah, that's very important. We have communication problems everywhere in the country. So in order to do that, write a book.
So you mentioned communication problem, very interesting. There are many a times when we see clashes with things. For example, someone from another province and they have communication issues where they can't solve. Writing is another way of solving that as well.
Yes, writing is another way, and publishing them into a book so that people can buy your books and get those books, and probably they can travel with your book and go out there and communicate with the people. That's one of the simple things that we can do, because 800 languages is so much.
Yes.
So in order to learn someone else's language, just write.
Great. Month of September is a celebration time for Papua New Guinea. Obviously, it's independence. For your case, for your site, Ples Singsing, what are some of the activities that you've got going for this month, and what are some of the things that you're encouraging people to actually come on and blog with you?
Well, currently we are having our independence celebration. We are encouraging Papua New Guineans to write anything about independence.
What do they feel about independence?
What they feel about independence, and also we're encouraging the literacy day was yesterday. Right?
Yes, international literacy.
Yeah, so we have been encouraging them to write about something about literacy.
Yes.
So yeah, they have sent us, email us, and we have started to proofread them, editing, and put it up on the blog for the public to see.
When you talk about independence, you also encourage people to be more open in terms of some people may think that, if I write this, if I write a negative comment, but I'm expressing my feeling, although we've come 46 independence, but there's some things that we need to improve as a country, or some things that we need to do, and they write that. You encourage that, right? People to be more open and let's not hold back, because when you express your opinion, that's when you can realize something that needs to be helped or looked at, right?
Yes, at Ples Singsing, it's free of speech, free of writing.
Freedom of writing, speech.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the best thing about writing. It gives you freedom.
Freedom to write.
Yeah, to express.
Yeah, express yourself. So that's why they've been doing that, and they're happy. They're happy to take part.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
send their writing to us.
Okay, so if someone wanted to send something about the independence or anything that they'd like to blog with you on your blog site, if you could, what are your addresses and what are other platforms, and how can they contact you?
They can contact us through plessingsing.com. That's our website, and also they can follow us on Facebook.
Yes.
And Twitter, LinkedIn, and also Instagram.
Instagram as well.
And we also have YouTube.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's great.
Up.
What would be your message to Papua New Guineans out there who are listening to this program right now about writing, about blogging? Many people say, blogging is for people who go on the internet and they write and stuff like that, but it's serious. Since blogging was invented, I think created in 1993, I think.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
1993. It has become a powerful medium.
Media tools.
Yeah, media tool that people go and express, and they use that, and it's changed governments, it's changed decisions.
Yes.
So what would be your message out there, to politicians right now, leaders with elections coming up, to educationists, to people who make decisions, to people listening to the program, simple Papua New Guinea right now? What would be your message to them?
My message to them is just write what you know. You just go out there, create a blog, and write. I've started my blog as just a hobby. So in that, it's just grew my hobby and my passion of writing. And if you have a passion out there, if you love writing, just create a blog and write.
Oh, that's wonderful, Betty. Betty, thank you very much for your time. Betty Wakia, she's a writer, she's an educationist, she's a wonderful person, and she is hoping. Betty, before you go, is there any more in terms of, you said you've got a petition running that you sent to the Honourable Prime Minister, James Marape. You've got this essay competition that's trying to reach out to the Prime Minister as well. What are some of the things that you're planning, before we let you go, that you want, that you're doing to get the attention of the Prime Minister? What are some of the things that you've got planned?
We are currently going to be doing, another
Petition? Yes.
Probably. But we need public to support.
Yes.
And please, public out there to support what we are doing, because it's what it costs for the nations.
Yes.
And I know that literacy is dying out,
Yes.
and we need to take this forward.
It needs to be taught more in our school.
Yes, especially students, our kids, not reading.
Yes.
And I think, and as a parent, as yourself, I think you need to encourage your kids.
Yes.
You really need to encourage your kids to pick up a book and read.
It starts with each individual.
It starts with
You just got to pick up a book, read. You just got to start writing.
Writing, that's it.
For the future of Papua New Guinea, and for yourself and your family as well.
That's right.
Thank you, Betty. It's been wonderful talking with you. The discussions, with the Ples Singsing blog site, and also your experiences as well. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we know that there are people listening to this program, and hopefully the Prime Minister or someone who's of higher authority, can come to you and of course work with you, about literacy and work with writing and help our local writers and publishers as well. Betty Wakia, thank you for your time.
Thank you for giving me this great opportunity to be part of this program. Thank you.
No worries. Well, that's Betty there, a wonderful person. She's full of smiles as well, and we hope to get her on the program probably a little bit later if there's some response that comes up, within the government or any of the statutory bodies that come and try and talk to her, try to work with her as well. It's very important. Writing helps you to understand yourself. Writing helps you express yourself. Writing can help you to be more creative, and writing is a way to go about. Do make sure you go to the Ples Singsing site. Make sure you go there, plessingsing.com. Have a look at some of the blogging posts and interact with it, and you can make your comments. We'll take our break. When we come back, we've got the next hour of the Nest FM100 Talkback Show.